Early this week there was that city update number 12. And Dresden is one of those cities which has been updated. In this video we're gonna fly over the city to see the changes. But first, let's roll the intro. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna depart from this airport, which is Dresden airport, and we're gonna fly over the city. And if we zoom into the city, we will see a lot of things, right? So there are some points of interest which have been added. There also are a lot of heliports added to this city. At least I do think that they're new, because I didn't look very closely at this city prior to, say, city update number 12 already. But there also are some points of interest, like some churches, etc., which are new. At least they're being called out in the release notes, which means I think that they're new. So let's, I would say, select this as the departure, and then let's start flying. So I changed the time a bit because I'm recording this already during the evening hours, which would normally mean that we would also fly during the night over the city. But that, of course, doesn't, I would say, add a lot of value, because then we can't see the level of detail. Although for night lighting purposes, it would have been nice, of course. I fully understand. But maybe in a future video, I will do that. So let's click on ready to fly. And we're already, I would say, approved to take off, right? So let's increase the speed of the aircraft. It's a small aircraft, as you can see, but it's a pretty nice one. Now I'm wondering if I removed the parking brakes. Likely I didn't. Well, we're still going pretty fast, so likely I did. So let's go ahead, and then let's see what we can discover for the city, right? So I'm gonna go airborne slowly. Here we go. If it allows us to go airborne, of course. Let's go inside the aircraft again. So I dropped the flaps a bit to help it a little bit. You can see that we were, I would say, almost bypassed by an, I would say, a large airliner. But hey, we already got the approval to take off. So if we look closely, we can see that the city is behind us currently. So let's, I would say, change the course a bit, right? Let's make a turn to the city itself. So again, Dresden Airport, I would say it's outside of the city. You can see it's not a really big one. It's pretty detailed, as you can see. But of course, it didn't receive any update, because we're talking about the city update. City updates are focusing on the city themselves. So in this case, this city of Dresden received an update. And based on the description, they say, okay, hey, there are a few points of interest. Again, I'm not 100% sure if they were there prior to city update number 12, but it's always nice to have a look at it. So we're going to decrease the engine power a bit, and then we're going to fly over, or fly to the city, because we still need to fly a bit, right? You can see it's almost 5 nautical miles from the airport to the city itself. There's a lot of, say, green, right? A lot of trees, a lot of forests around the city. But the closer we will come to the city, I would say, the less green it will be. Although it's, I would say, a pretty nice area. If you look around, right, you can only see a lot of green, including, let's say, some other nice things. So here we are at the, I would say, outer parts of Dresden already. We can see some nice green areas, but we also can see some other parts. If you looked at one of my early flights above Bremen, you see that there's not a lot of industry, at least not at this part. Here you can see some industry below us, but it's also, let's say, completely different compared to Bremen. I think it's also due to the location of the city itself. But still, there are some industry parts around the city. Here you can see one of them. Also a large park, which it looks like a park, and there's a river in between, right? As part of the city update, you can also see that the quality of the buildings has increased, at least based on what I currently see. There also are some nice buildings below us, like a church, but there also are some points of interest. And 3 of them are right in front of us. That's pretty nice to see. While we're passing the likely the central station of the city, which is over there. So there are a lot of churches. One of them is the Hofkirche, but also there are some other churches which are pretty detailed. Again, here you can see that the ships are still having some issues. We can see the Frauenkirche here while we're flying over this, the city. And here you can see the level of detail. And I do think that this is really detailed, right? There's a marker that this is the city of Dresden, which makes sense. And I would say let's not fly too low. But this is pretty amazing, right? If you look at the detail over here, a lot of cool things. Then we're I'd say seeing, it looks like a rail station. Now I'm of course starting to doubt if the first one was the central station or this one is. But you can see that it really looks pretty nice, right? So a lot of detail in this area where you can see, I'd say that it really received an update. Then if we're flying into this direction, we will also see the soccer stadium as it looks like from the city itself. And if we fly in this area, we can see a lot more green. Also a nice, I would say, it looks like some kind of, I would say, private house or something. Probably from someone who has a lot of money. Or maybe it's, I would say, kind of a museum or something, but pretty nice. So moving into the other areas, we can see that there are a lot of nice things being added to the city. So the question, of course, remains is how realistic is this, right? How realistic is this compared to how the real city looks like? That's, of course, something I can't judge, right? That's something which someone would live in the city could judge far more better. So I challenge you, if you're watching this video and you live in the city, let me know via the comment box below how realistic it is. Here's some nice buildings also, right? I'm not sure what it is. And also some special areas over here. So we're still following the rail track where you can see the trains. Trains are not driving. I do think that it might be planned somewhere in the future, and this looks like a solar field or something. So we're hitting the outside of the city as it looks like. So let's turn back the aircraft a bit and let's have another loop over the city while we're visiting some nice parts of the city. So let's, I would say, fly into this direction a bit. Here we can see also some sport facilities. Some towers over there, right? Probably they're television towers or something. Some modern buildings, it looks like some older buildings, but that's, I would say, a guess from this distance. And then we're seeing the city center already popping up over there. There also are some bridges around the city. Luckily, those bridges are, I would say, above the water and not under the water. You can see one of them over there, right? So they're modeled nicely, not under the water, but simply above the water. The question, of course, is, are the cars also driving, say, on the bridge or under the bridge? Which is hard to see from this area, but maybe we can see it from the next one. So pretty cool, I would say, right? So let's make the turn. We can see some ships, right? There's a nice river going to the city, which will eventually bring us back to those point of interest. Besides that, there are a lot of heliports over in the city. So if you love flying a helicopter, for example, the Eurocopter EC135, which is available as part of the latest update for Flight Simulator, Sim Update number 3, you need to have it because else it won't work. I have been, I would say, also facing that. then you can, I would say, use those heliports, of course, and I would say discover the city using a different, I would say, vehicle in Flight Simulator 2024. Here we're back to that area, right, where you can see the ships are still, let's say, a little bit messy. Wondering when they will fix that. Can imagine that it might not be the highest priority, but this doesn't look really realistic. Over here we can see some older buildings, right? So let's make a turn and fly into the other direction of the city. This part especially looks pretty detailed, right? It could be that they only focused on this part, I would say, for the majority, because this one looks far more realistic compared to how it normally would be. But maybe they also did some other things. You can also see some power plants or something over there, right? Some facilities. So there's also some industry in the city and a lot of trains, as you can see, right? Over there's Freital, right? Another city where you can fly to. So there are a lot of nice cities in Germany which you can fly to. And this one, right? This city, again, Dresden has received an update as part of city update number 12. Again, I challenge you to, I would say, post some reactions on what you think of the quality of the city. Has it been improved, yes or no? Is it more realistic or less realistic? Because I'm pretty curious about that. And with that, we're at the end of this video where we had a brief look at the city of Dresden, which received an update as part of city update number 12, which was released earlier this week. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you want me to create more of these videos where we simply review the city, then also let me know. Or if I can improve something, also let me know. And I hope to see you back next time.